Hello, good evening. Welcome to League Managers Television. And this is League Talk. Once again, this is a new year, 2025, and this is our first episode. And today, I'm going to talk about a sensitive topic that, is really sensitive. And I think it's time we talk about it as a country. It seems that in Ghana, there is a practice that is based on our constitution that we keep doing. Every government, every successive government comes, and because it's a constitutional right, they all do it. Everybody is doing it. There's no problem about it. They have not fought. The governments have not fought because that's the constitution guiding their actions. And for me, it's time we start looking at some of these things. As a country, I think that there is a need to make changes to some of these practices that is being part of us. It has been part of us for since the constitution was made, but it's not helping us. It's time to talk about it, and we as a country have to look at ways that we can reform the constitution and make this a proper country, to make this a proper country. Once again, let me tell my listeners, I've always been saying this, listen to my program, this is not a political show. I can talk, I speak about issues, it can affect you, you don't understand it. It's not a political show. I'm looking at things that will help Ghana as a country, and I have to speak my mind. I have to speak the way I see it, the way my research is providing me information on some of these things, the way the research I did, my findings are giving me. Okay, so today's topic, I'm going to look at the processes of appointing individuals to public offices or public institutions in Ghana. I'm looking at the processes of appointing individuals to public offices or public institutions. Let's look at a country like Ghana. It can at times take a government 2 to 3 months, and they are still doing appointments to public institutions. I don't normally observe this in countries like the UK, where a new government comes and they will still be making appointments into institutions. So I try to look at the UK and the US and then compare it to Ghana. These are case studies or case countries or countries that we are trying to follow. The British people brought democracy to Ghana. It came to help us build democracy. And if we are learning from them, then we have to do things right as a country. For me, it's time we do a constitutional reform in so many things. You see, the government takes all approach. It's something as a country, the people have to talk about it, and this should end. Let's look at our constitution. The constitution was developed by a military ruler who turns to a civilian government. It changed to democracy. So this constitution was done to favor him. For me, he did well. You see, why he did was that he was in power for over 10 years, 11 years as a military government. And he need to change to democracy or civilian rule. And what he did was, he did a constitution that favors him, something that gives him more power. You see, this constitution do not develop institutions, but it gives the government what? Power. The government takes all approach. That's why you see government making appointments to various institutions in Ghana. And it can take years. Government putting their people they trust Appointments are not made on competency, but on what? Are made on loyalty to the government. If you are not loyal to the government, you are not what? Appointed. And as such, it leads to so many people going to so many areas that they are not competent. They don't have any knowledge. They don't have any experience. People go and head certain institutions, cocoa board. People go and head institutions that they don't even have any experience. And this bothers me. So I was looking at, how this thing has been happening in Ghana. What brought about this? The constitution is giving the government that authority to do that. So the government has done nothing wrong. But one thing is, as a country, if we are practicing democracy, democracy is giving power back to the people. I remember Obama came to Ghana some time ago and told the Ghana government that we should build strong institutions rather than strong men. And the Ghanaians do not understand it. How do you bring a strong institution? It all goes to your constitution. For me, it's time that we have a total relook at our constitution as a country if we want to grow this country. We have been crying for a better economy. But with the same constitution, I don't think that as a country, we will have that better economy. Okay, now, the constitution gives the government right to appoint people to all these government institutions. So many of them. We all know these government institutions. There are many. I'm not going to mention names. We all know them. You see, and the government is doing what the constitutional right mandates them because we have voted for the government. Yes, he has done nothing wrong. But as a constitution, is this approach helping the country? That constitution, is this constitution helping the country? That is something that we should look as a country. I think we have reached a level that, Ghanaians, we should talk about some of these things. I would like the media to talk about these things, not this politicking or unnecessary stuff that are not helping the country. These journalists following things, that are not important. You see, why is it that the British will elect a prime minister, the American will elect a president, and you don't see the government making appointments to so many institutions? And it can take up to about 3 months. Government is still making appointments. Why is it the UK is not doing that? My research, you see, find out that in the UK, they have somebody they call the appointment commissioner. The appointment commissioner is responsible for appointments. I did a research about the appointment commissioner in the UK and find that it's an independent body that is not political. And they make appointments to what? These public institutions, these state institutions, top positions, CEOs of these institutions. So the appointment commissioner is in charge. So when the government comes, those positions are not changed. Let's look at certain things. The basis of appointments in the UK. They said that in the UK, it's based on what? Merit-based. It's merit-based. In Ghana, predominantly what? Political. Let's look at the role of politics in these appointments. In the UK, the role of politics is what? Limited. It doesn't have political what? Influence. In Ghana, the role of politics is what? Very high. Oversight mechanisms. In the UK, Civil Service Commission, that is the appointment commissioner I made mention of. They have what? Oversight mechanism. In Ghana, it's limited to what? Council of State or the government. Let's look at continuity of some of these state appointments. In UK, they have what? A high continuity. That is, civil service is stable. But in Ghana is what? Low. Frequent changes. Somebody is appointed to certain public institution. The next government comes, it changes them. It doesn't help the country. You see, are we developing a country or we are just, making jokes, and it's like we are joking as people. Ghanaians are developing intellectuals, academics. Universities are growing professors upon professors upon professors. But how are these impacting the growth of the country? Are we not ready as a country to, look at some of these basic problems this constitution is causing the country, giving the government power over everything? And as such, it's causing what? This country is declining and declining and declining. The global village agenda, even though it's influencing Ghana, we have, technology is growing here, internet, access to internet is there, and all that. But the thing is, in terms of basic development, Ghanaians are lacking that. You see, you walk on the road and you see certain things that should not be happening. I think it's time that we have a real look at our constitution. There has to be a reform that should give power back to the people. Power should be given back to the people. Ghanaians should own power. What do I mean that? I think it's time Ghanaians elect their local governments. So local government cannot be controlled by what? The national government. I think we have to look at the local government system. That is not controlled by the government. And local government election can be different years compared to the years that we vote for president. You see, so that president will come, governments will come, and will not be changing these local authorities anyhow. You see, state appointment should not be done. Appointing people to state institutions is not a government responsibility. Why don't we hear, in the development, in these developed countries, that government come, they will construct roads, they will do this. It's not an agenda. The local government responsibility. So you see, there is no partiality there. That if you are not in favor of that party, your roads are not constructed. That area roads are not constructed. I think it's time Ghanaians start talking. And it's high time, we have to look at constitutional changes to, grow this country as a country. This is the only country we have. And for me, I'm a Ghanaian, and I'm living in Ghana now, and I have to talk about the reality. And I think we need a constitutional reform. Thank you. This is Lead Managers Television, and this is Lead Talk. I'm going to come back again with another episode, and we are going to look at so many things. Thank you. I'm your servant, Nana Damso Boafo. Thank you. Enjoy your day.